Have you ever wondered why roguelikes are so addictive? Is it because of the randomness of every run? Or maybe it's trying to finally beat that hard boss that killed you 15 times prior? While these are all real aspects of a roguelike, I think one more feature tends to stand out amongst the rest: free will. You start a run, beat the first room or stage, then you are presented with a simple task. Choose one of the following. This simple choice is what defines the run. But beyond the run, this choice is what makes any roguelike so addicting. Hades is a standard roguelike, going through stages, fighting bosses, and attempting to get to the end. But part of what makes it so special is the inclusion of Greek mythology. You see, in Hades, this choice of your upgrades lies within boons. You are presented with one of three options from a single deity. Each may level up an attack, add a special effect, or give you extra health or perks. Each possibility here, along with the combinations that you can construct, are what make this game so addicting. On top of the great story, art style, gameplay, For me, Hades is more than just a grind to see the end of the story, but rather to build new kits in each run. Every room, every reward, every upgrade, it adds to the overall experience. Each loss feels like my fault, where every win was my idea. The decisions being made here all come down to your playstyle and the choices you have made, but this is part of what makes a game like Hades so great. Recently, I got back into Balatro. To those that aren't aware, Balatro is a poker roguelike where you use unique jokers to gain chips and multiplier, or mult, in order to beat the current blind. As you progress a run, you unlock more jokers and play around with your deck of cards, building a new strategy each time. While the stakes are the same for each run depending on what chip or difficulty you choose, the store is what varies. Here is where the choice lies, and is simply Balatro's way of choosing one of the following. Balatro has a lot of jokers, each having unique abilities. While learning the game, you want to unlock them all to see what new combinations you can put together. Over time, as you do multiple runs, you begin to realize something. The shop holds all the weight on how well a run performs. In Hades, you can influence what boons you receive using keepsakes, but in Balatro, you use money to reroll the shop. This is part of what makes the game so addicting. Attempting to get certain jokers to combine with others that could trigger high scores is thrilling, and you realize very quickly in higher difficulties that not every combination works. This means you must be a little lucky and have the skill to pull off whatever jokers you are presented with. Choosing which jokers you wish to play with that run changes the outcome. The choice is on you, and the freedom that comes along with it is what makes a roguelike like Balatro so addicting. Mario Kart World. Now, you might be thinking, this isn't a roguelike, but we can use it as an example of how one aspect can really make a game addicting. When Mario Kart World first launched, people were disappointed because of its lackluster open world. However, the game is still played by many every day. Even when a game experiments with other ideas, like the open world in Mario Kart, it doesn't overly matter if those don't land. That's not to say that all new features in well-established genres don't matter, but rather that the core gameplay loop needs to be good. In Mario Kart, that's racing. In Hades or Balatro, it's the constant decision making over and over again. That loop is so strong that it underlies the entire game. This design of choosing how you will progress through the world differently each time is not one often thought about, but ultimately is the reason people get so hooked. In Slay Spire, we see this gameplay loop used frequently. This is a deck building game. Through winning rooms, you are prompted with a selection of cards that you could add to your deck. Over time, as you learn more about the game, you adopt new strategies and know when and what cards to choose. You want to get to the end, whether that be with one character, all characters, or the highest difficulty on each character. However, one divisor amongst all the runs here is a selection of cards. No matter how you wish to play, choosing cards will always be a factor each time. Now, while most roguelikes only have one of these choices, Spire actually contains multiple. Cards aren't the only choice you make in this game. In the beginning of every run, you are prompted to choose a minor buff from Niall. While not incredibly helpful, it's still an option that you're in control of. Additionally, throughout runs, you can encounter question marks on the map. Here, you have a chance to be presented with dialogue, which usually revolves in a choice of how you will proceed. For example, here we could either choose to take a relic or back away. And finally, as you kill a final boss at the end of an act, you are presented with a chest. This chest contains one of 3 powerful relics, all of which could be very useful to you depending on your playstyle. And of course, we still have a shop. People tend to think about how every run is randomized, so that no 2 runs will follow the same path. However, that is only a very small part of what makes a game like Spire so great. Every encounter triggers a choice, whether it be a card or a relic, and this option is actually what makes the game very addicting. You want to figure out what happens if you take a different card, or take another option on each question mark. You are in full control. If you make a bad decision, it will directly impact your run later. Then, you learn and figure out not to do so the next time. This is all part of what makes roguelikes so fun. For this video, I figured I would check out a new roguelike and see if these same principles still apply. This is where I discovered Gambonanza. Think of chess mixed with Balatro, except you do not need extensive knowledge of chess to play. Here, the goal is to get to the end of 5 stages, each with their own boss and 5 mini-rounds. These bosses each have a unique ability, like shuffling around your pieces and not letting you see which they are. In order to do well in this game, you need to not only manage your pieces well, but also use this game's Joker feature called Gambits. You gain Gambits either directly from the store or from Gambit tokens. The store itself provides your initial choice of how you want to play the run, similar to Balatro. But, just like the packs in that game, here you can gamble for a 1 of 3 choice of Gambits, each doing something different. You want to make sure that you line your pieces up with your gambits. For example, in this run, I received a gambit that allowed me to get a free rook at the beginning of every round. Then later, I comboed it with another gambit that gave me a king piece each time my rook was captured. And lastly, I gained a gambit that gave a 1 in 3 chance for the opponent's turn to miss if I had both a rook and a king in play. Attempting to get gambits to work with what you already have is fun, and the choices this game gives you is what keeps you wanting to do another run. Alongside the gambits, we have tiles. You can receive these from the gambits or also in the store with a tile token. You are once again prompted with a choice, this time of where to drop your token. Tiles change one of the squares on the board to do something when a piece lands on it. Combining this with the gambits, it allows for interesting runs, making this roguelike feel new and unique with a foolproof formula. Without even thinking about all the choices this game throws at you, secretly these decisions are what actually keep you hooked. Roguelikes aren't only addictive because they are challenging or random. They are addicting because of the choices they constantly ask of you. In just a few examples showcased in this video, we can see this as a common trend amongst these games. These small but meaningful decisions are what make roguelikes so engaging. Once you realize this, it's hard to stop playing them, and it's done in the simplest way. 3 options, choose one. Thanks for sticking to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and or subscribing. This is actually my first ever video essay, but I intend to make some more based on some other ideas that I have. Feel free to leave a comment as well if you have any tips or recommendations at all. Thanks.